Good morning and welcome to our Wednesday morning meditation. This is a week in which we've realised that there is more to the world than just lockdown, and what stories we've had to remind us of that. We have the name of a man who a week ago we didn't know, and yet who has lit a blue touch paper around the world, which has brought many people out in protest and made all of us think and search a little bit more deeply as to what justice means and what it means for us and what we can do about it. We also have the name of a young girl that we know only too well, and we have the realisation that her parents have suffered a pain for over a decade, a pain which hasn't found resolution, and we wonder what justice means for them. And then washing through these stories is still, what does it mean to come out of lockdown? What shops and premises can be open? What remains closed? And why should they? And what is there that was going to be open that is now closed, with lots of confusing advice? And is it 1 metre or 2 metres that makes us safe? There seems an awful lot for us to contend with. And it's difficult to think straight, isn't it, in a world that feels so chaotic. Interestingly, on Sunday, the Gospel reading that we had in our service was from Matthew, and it was described the episode where Jesus walks on the water during the storms, and the disciples in the boat spy him, and of course they're greatly frightened because they believe at first that it's a ghost. In that story we often concentrate on how the disciples will respond. We usually forget about the 11 who decided it was much safer to stay in the boat and do nothing and perhaps close their eyes and hope everything would go away. And we concentrate on the one, Peter, who decided to get out of the boat, with decidedly mixed results, in that part of the time he was able to stay on top of the water, part of the time he found himself sinking below it, which feels very familiar. Of course, we also realise that he did keep his eyes on Jesus, and that's one of the main things that we learn from that. But actually, what I want to do for this short meditation today is to concentrate on the figure of Jesus, and remember that however the disciples reacted, whatever they did, Jesus was the one who was out there walking amongst the storms, walking amongst the rain, a cool, authoritative, calm figure, completely and utterly in charge. And the storms that we see lashing us in all the news stories now, Jesus is still doing that job. He's still out there right in the middle of it, but he is calm and authoritative and collected and drawing everyone to him. I'm going to finish by reading from Psalm 33. Obviously, the Psalms being written several hundred years before Jesus don't mention him by name, but I want you to think of that picture of him amongst all the storms and the difficulties as I read these words. For the word of the Lord is upright, and all his work is done in faithfulness. He loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of the steadfast love of the Lord. By the word of the Lord the heavens were made, and all their host by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea as in a bottle. He put the deeps in storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. The Lord looks down from heaven. He sees all humankind. From where he sits enthroned, he watches all the inhabitants of the earth. He who fashions the hearts of them all, and observes all their deeds. Truly, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope in his steadfast love, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waits for the Lord. He is our help and shield. Our heart is glad in him, because we trust in his holy name. Let your steadfast love, O Lord, be upon us, even as we hope in you. Amen, and have a lovely day.